Winter sure has touched down. It's been snowing on Arthur's Pass and the Desert Road. Hawera's had gales, Napier's been drenched, and Manapuri got out of bed to -5. Now things are improving, but be prepared for hard, scything frosts. The big picture coming up. Right now, it's 6 o'clock.
This is One News with Simon Dallow and Wendy Petrie.
Tonight, news is coming in about New Zealand troops caught in an attack on a Kabul hotel. Also, distress for hundreds of laid-off meat workers in Hawke's Bay sent home with gumboots as a parting gift.
The backlash is building. Retailers respond to outrage over Maxina King's book on the deaths of her babies.
He beat his dog to death and he's going to jail. But is it long enough? We gauge reaction.
And a shocking car seat experience for this mum and baby brings questions over safety standards.
Kia ora, good evening. As we go to air tonight, we're learning about New Zealand military involvement in efforts to repel a deadly attack on a hotel in Afghanistan's capital.
The Intercontinental Hotel in Kabul is popular with Westerners and was the target of suicide bombers. At least 10 civilians have been killed, and we can now confirm New Zealand troops were involved in the fighting that followed. With more details, here's One News political reporter Mike Parkin. Mike.
Well, that's right, Simon. Look, I've been asking questions of the government and the Defence Force about this throughout the day. No one was prepared to confirm or deny anything.
More than 300 meat workers in Waipokoro have got the bad news they were expecting. They've lost their jobs.
The Ovation meat plant has confirmed it's permanently closing down its boning room and is moving to Fielding. Catherine Wedd looks at the impact the decision will have on the small Hawke's Bay town.
Today's big job cuts follow a bleak few months for workers around the country. The Conservation Department's just axed 100 staff. Foreign Affairs has indicated it wants to slim down by 200 jobs. In May, 100 New Zealand Post workers got the bad news, and 100 foodstuffs workers around the Lower North Island were shown the door in April. Maxina King may find it hard to get her book about the murders of her twin babies into bookstores. A number of retailers we've spoken to say they won't stock it.
The author Ian Wishart says the reaction's like a lynch mob, and he's released recordings he made with Maxina King while writing the book. Chrissy Moreau's following developments. She's with us now. Chrissy.
Locals have released this statement saying they are still deciding whether or not they're going to sell this book. Now, they're considering things like staff safety, should they decide to sell it, and the public outcry. And they join a number of booksellers across the country that I've spoken to today who are still on the fence, but there are a growing number who won't have a bar of it.
And tonight, Fairgo looks in more detail at the lack of safety checks on babies' car seats and the challenges that presents for parents. That's here on One at 7:30 after Close-Up.
Coming up on One News, decision time in Greece. Protesters in Athens vent their anger at planned austerity changes. There's more good news for the South Island slopes as Coronet Peak gets a much-needed kickstart to winter. And walking amongst giants, meet the newest visitors to hit our shores. Then, he's the unstoppable legend always battling for charity. But what about the Mad Butcher's own health battle? Sir Peter Leach talks to Close Up live at 7.
Welcome back. Tensions are at boiling point in Greece tonight, with Parliament just hours away from voting on austerity measures which will determine the country's future. And Jim likes to remind us that he talked about the snow arriving last night, but is there any more to come, Jimmy?
I'll take all the credit I can, thanks, Wendy. Not for now. Conditions are still good for snowmaking, as you just heard, in Canterbury and Queenstown. Several days of cold, dry air, but it's quite nice to get a good dose of winter. The fires are going and the soup's on. And that North Island trough, the top end of the cold weather, has produced some rain. Hastings and Gisborne and Napier. The big gale of winds, of course, affected much of the top part of the South Island, and frost and Manapuri. And, of course, the icing on the winter cake, as you've just seen, is lots of this, 20 to 30 centimetres on Mount Hutt, much of it wind-blown, and through the passes. And, of course, as you've just seen, the snowmaking, stolen my thunder, so to speak. Anyway, snowmaking in Queenstown. An unlikely winner on our temperature chart, Haast. 16 degrees, the warming effect of the southeasterly wind descending onto the west coast. Dunedin got to 10 and Christchurch 9. The west coast at Nelson 14, 15 degrees with beautiful weather breaking out over there. But here's the southerly, 9 in Kaikoura, 11 in Wellington. A wee trio of 14s, Gisborne, Tokoroa and Wanganui. And across the north, this is more like the seasonal average, 13 degrees in Auckland and Whangarei with 12 degrees in Rotorua. You'll need the boots, hats and coats in town because Auckland is down to 4 degrees overnight. It's fine. It'll stay that way for the next 3 days. And there's a southerly breeze there at the moment. Tauranga also clear with a southerly breeze, and you'll be shivering tonight too. There's your overnight low, 5 degrees. Hamilton's fine and crisp, even colder for you. You'll plunge to 1. Wellington's still got the strong southerly with a trickle of showers across the city, and they will continue through the night and tomorrow morning. Let's go to Christchurch now. It's fine and clear with a light sou'wester. The sou'wester will lock you down to 2 degrees overnight. And Dunedin also reversing down to 5. It's clear over the city with a southwesterly breeze. Here's another quick look at the snowmaking today above Queenstown. Jack's got the ice bucket out. Temperature updates right after Savil's serving of sport. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Jim. Still to come on One News, though, our Napier siege heroes are honoured for their bravery.
And we'll get up close and personal with Auckland's giant new visitors.
He's the unstoppable legend, always battling for charity, but what about his own health battle?
Welcome back. Canterbury councils have less than 24 hours to secure new multi-billion-dollar insurance cover for their public assets. Overseas insurance companies say they can't afford the cover because of the risk of another disaster.
A further 72 buildings have tonight been added to the list of properties needing full or partial demolition or make-safe work. Ruth Wynne-Williams reports. Looking at our top stories tonight now, a short time ago, Defence Force officials confirmed that 2 New Zealand SAS soldiers had been injured during a Taliban attack in the Afghan capital. At least 10 civilians were killed in the suicide bombing on Kabul's Intercontinental Hotel. New Zealand Defence Force chiefs say 2 soldiers have moderate injuries and their families have been contacted.
And Whitcoul's bookstore says it's still considering whether or not it'll sell a book written by the Kahui twins' mother, Maxina King. Other booksellers have already said they won't stock it as the public outcry against the book grows.
Andrew joins us with sport now. Shock, horror, the Warriors coach is off.
I think we should realise by now that when a player or a coach says they're not off, they are definitely leaving. So who will take over at the Warriors next year? We'll run through the options for you next. Also tonight, Sonny Bill Williams, the Chief. What's Ma'a trying to tell us as well? And which first 5 have the Blues pitched a new deal to? Plus, the next wave of provincial rugby stars return with their World Cup. And can the grunt machine really lose Wimbledon? Looks like it's going to be a 3-way race for the Warriors' top coaching job next year. After a ton of speculation, Ivan Cleary has confirmed he's leaving the club to join the Penrith Panthers.
This isn't the only bit of celebrating for Luke Whitelock. He's just been named to the Canterbury NPC side, meaning he'll play alongside older siblings Sam, Adam and George. It's the first time ever that 4 brothers have been named in the Canterbury side.
I do get excited by nil draws because I'm a Spurs fan. Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks very much, Andrew.
After the break, Jim's here with improving weather with icy strings attached.
Howdy once again, everybody. Plenty of snow falling from Canterbury north today, with Hutt and Turoa timing their opening pretty much to perfection. From Tekapo, you can see good dusting right along the ranges. Isn't that a beautiful shot? Let's go to the sky now. An angry swarm of showers mixed up with thunder moving off the central northern part of the North Island today as the trough finally gives up the fight and moves away to the northeast. And this creamed off flattened cloud here, stratiform cloud under that big fat anticyclone, here for about 4 days, and look what happens. The trough continues to move out tomorrow. The railway lines begin to become sparse and the wind flow will ease back as the high still in the Tasman Sea starts to push this clearing ridge over the northeast of the North Island. Still a bit of activity up here around Gisborne. 1,040 under the goalposts right there. So icing sugar all over the place. There's a good frost, a serious frost. A couple of showers still in the south for Southland and South Otago. A few coastal ones up here drying out. It's a south-southwester. Brilliant inland and to the west and up in Nelson, but you're back in the chiller tomorrow night. Meantime, brilliant north of the big mountains in the North Island as well. Just a few showers catching the south and the east up here. They'll dry out, except for that northeastern corner. It's a southerly, strong and gusty south of Taupo, but easing back. And look at those big blue skies developing into the afternoon. Top up the wood box in the south because -4, -3 in central, and the showers dry up in Invercargill. So beautiful. Superb weather once again on the west coast. The wind will ease right off. Nelson looking at 15 degrees, Hokitika 14. Eastern areas also magnificent after an icy start. That cloud should burn off and the southerly wind will dive right back. Now, Wanganui, as the wind blasts through the Cook Strait area here, you might get 1 or 2 little showers in the morning, but that wind decelerates and lots of sunshine for Kapiti and New Plymouth. Things peter out pretty much in the east as well. South of Napier, the showers will dry up and the wind will ease back. But as I said, Gisborne, Tokomaru Bay, Hicks Bay, keep a few showers into the afternoon. Fantastic vistas for the lakes and mountains through the plateau tomorrow. The wind easing back and 15 the high for Whakatane. And fine also across the north, just a bit of cloud for Whangarei and that southeaster gradually losing its oomph. Now, at Dunedin, you're looking dandy. Just a few bits of cloud. The southerly will slowly die away, but wrap up, you're going to be pretty chilly. Pretty edgy around dawn as well in Christchurch with 1 or 2 early showers around Banks Peninsula, and then very nice as the wind dies away. Wind chill temperature around 5-6 degrees in Wellington, but the wind will slowly ease and you'll warm up. Occasional showers, but very much an improving picture. Pretty tough getting out of the sack in Hamilton. Look at that overnight low, but a brilliant day coming with a light southerly and you climb up to 14. Lovely also in Tauranga. You'll hit around 15 degrees. The southerly easing back into the afternoon. And Auckland gets a beauty. Big wall-to-wall sunshine with a light southerly breeze and 15 degrees as well. Sydney gets a shower, but Adelaide, Melbourne looking mostly fine. And it's a good time to pack the old togs and bikinis and stuff and get up in the Pacific because look at that. Lots of sunshine. Friday, superb weather once again, but icy with heavy frosts. 1 or 2 light showers north of Wairoa and also in the far north. Into the weekend, brilliant for most, just a bit of fog and frost around. Maybe a light shower east of Coromandel. Into Sunday, fine, frosty and a bit of fog. Again, 1 or 2 light showers up here and some late drizzle developing south of the glaciers. So some beautiful weather coming up. It's already happening in Tiana. Look at that picture, isn't that gorgeous? And you'll need both the shades and the puffy jackets because look at these overnight lows. Taumarunui -2, Twizel -4, and on -1 it's time to say good night to nightcaps. See you later.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you too for joining us. That's One News this Wednesday.
Now over to Mike with the close-up.